Welcome back to Kicking Out Perfection. This module, we're going to talk about the importance of creating anyway. And you might think of this as creating as if your conditions were ideal, you had supreme confidence, you didn't ever feel like an imposter, you had all the tools you needed at all times. But it's more than that for me. I think it can include creating as if, but creating anyway means no matter how I feel inside, I am going to find a way to tap into my creativity, to show up for my creativity, because my creative process feels important to me, and therefore I'm going to make it important. So, good days or bad days, and we'll talk more about that later, I'm going to create because it's on my calendar, because I have a deadline, or because I feel inspired. Right? I know you've probably heard that you should not wait for inspiration to strike before you create. And that's part of this too. But it doesn't mean inspiration isn't going to strike. Sometimes I haven't scheduled time for creativity, and yet I'm going to make extra time because juices are really flowing, or lightning is striking and feeding me information, and I need to get it down somehow, somewhere, some way, right away. And that might just be a quick few lines, a sketch. Or I may say, you know what, I'm actually going to shuffle this time block that I had scheduled for something else, and I'm going to use this time to create. So, what does that feel like for you? What does the thought, I'm going to create anyway, feel like to you? And we'll spend some time exploring that this module. But one thing I want to talk about is a concept I call holding your creativity lightly. Yes, I say creativity is vital. Yes, I say it's important to the world right now. And I believe that's true. However, I can't make my creative process and my creativity feel too precious. You know, it's like those beautiful notebooks that you buy thinking you'll fill them with art, and then you never open them because they're too beautiful. You've made them too precious, right? Whereas you and the notebook would be better served if you opened the first page and scribbled all over it to start. Ruined it right off the bat, so you could free yourself up to create something in that beautiful notebook. So, in kicking out perfection and perfectionism, holding creativity lightly is key for me. One of my writing mentors told me, just write the next sentence. And I have that posted in my office. So when I get hung up on something, when I wonder, is this the right direction to be going? Or is this good enough? I just remember, none of that matters. What I need to do is write the next sentence. And then I need to engage another concept I work with, which I call write and release. I just finish things and let them go. I send them out into the world. Whether that's a story on my blog, whether I put that story up for sale, whether I send that story out to a magazine for possible purchase, it doesn't matter. What matters is creativity is able to continue flowing through me because I'm not clutching it. I'm not hanging on tightly to anything. I'm not making my art and creative process too precious. And some stories I've written when I've felt like garbage and I thought they weren't very good, people have loved those stories. Whereas sometimes stories that get crafted and polished, they lose their life force. They lose that immediacy of connection. And it's the same for a painting you work to death, or a dance that you choreograph down to the nth degree so you no longer have room for spontaneity. Remember, we're in this flow of the river. So how can you hold your creativity lightly? How can you create anyway, no matter what your current conditions are? Spend some time pondering that and take a breath. And let's create.